everyone, it's Eric at Hux Racing. This video is to show the current status of the car as we prepare for the MR2 Nationals 2020. The dates for that event are going to be May 22nd to May 25th. 4 days of just MR2 activities. Friday, drag racing at Texas Motorsplex, sponsored by us, from 4 to 7 p.m. Saturday, the Toyota Museum in Texas, as well as a pool party and a car show, I believe at the parking lot of the Toyota Museum. Sunday, Dyno Day and ATS, sponsored by ATS. Monday, road racing at the infield of Texas Motor Speedway. That's sponsored by Nick Bianco at Nick Speed. He'll be giving an award for the fastest time of the day, monitored by Harry's lap timer. If I didn't mention it, we're the sponsors of the drag day on Friday. There's going to be an award for fastest CT20B powered car, an award for anybody who can beat the 11.8 CT20B record, as well as an award for the fastest time of the day, on the drag strip, or quickest car. Hey folks, this is where we're going to start the video. We're going to work around the outside of the car and then move around to the engine bay, trunk, frunk, interior area. So going here to the front, you see I have the custom air dam set up. It's actually a factory nose cut in half. The whole lower section has been removed. It's actually cut just below where you see the ABS air dam attached. It has a birch splitter that goes way behind the front axle center line, and the rest of the car to the engine bay. It's flat bottomed with that same ABS plastic. See my clear eBay corners with a nice rock chip there. The radiator inlet is all boxed. It's 1/3 the surface area of the size of the radiator, and the cooling on it with this directed airflow has been spectacular. 15x9 rotor grids, 36 offset. The 245/40 Nankangs, 11.75 two-piece rotors. Willwood Dynapro radial mounts, titanium lug nuts, missing valve stem cap, always awesome. You can see in the front there. So has the factory inner liners. It's just trimmed up at the front where the air dam section is. Campo side vent section. See the body lines line up nicely. 15x9s also again in the back. 36 offset, 245/40 Nankang AR1. 10.75 Willwood two-piece rotors, and once again a Willwood Dynapro radial mount. The brake setup is, I could have went larger in the rear, but with the weld Alumastars that I run, I had to be able to get the brakes to fit underneath my Alumastars. Actually, I run about a 1/2-inch wheel spacer for road racing. When I run the Alumastars for drag racing, I don't need to run the spacer because the offset is right. 94 taillights, nothing out of the ordinary back there. Blackbird Fabworks wing for NC Miata. XVR Racing engine cover, Anthony Fragola. Is a super nice piece. The trunk is actually just fiberglass with carbon fiber wrap. It is nowhere near the quality of this engine lid. I'll show you the inside of it later. Okay, off to the trunk. Once again, the Blackbird Fabworks wing. You can see the stands that hold it up. I actually have a shorter set of stands to lay it flat when we drag race. Nothing spectacular going on inside of here. Lock my trunk support down. Overflow bottle, anti-gravity battery, master shutoff, my exposed wiring because I change stuff so much. I'm always having to pull the loom apart, so I just don't worry about it. Relay block, nitrous bottle mount, and you can see some other nitrous bottle sensors and bottle heater stuff back there. Nitrous stuff's probably coming out because I haven't even ran nitrous on the current combo in the last 1.5 years, so just going to end up deleting that. Okay, on to the interior. Start here on the passenger side. It's a heavily modified Willwood stage brake setup that we do for the MR2. we reverse the push-pull action and move the master cylinder portion to up here instead of it would be in the back, so we move it. All the sound deadening removed from the car. You can hear it sounds pretty tinny. Sparco seats, heavily modified K-tune repped gearbox to work with or shift box to work with the E153. It's got a 5th reverse lockout. Carbon fiber panel to delete the radio hole. The HVAC functions still work. You know, all the vent controls, there's no AC or heat, but the vent controls do work. AIM dash, carbon fiber insert for the dash that we sell. Carbon fiber horn delete, Sparco wheel. Once again, ugly tan door inserts. We're going to be swapping those out, probably wrap them in carbon fiber cloth and match the rest of the car. Sparco Pro 2000 seat, Sparco Sprint on this side. Roll bar that we built, SCCA spec. Nice part is because the car's so light, we were able to use the smaller diameter tubing. Keep the weight down. I think still added 50 pounds to the car. I do need to make some carbon fiber pieces to cover that up. That's actually where the bracket would be for the factory seatbelt retractors, but since we don't have factory belts, that's been deleted. So full dash, essentially full interior, still has all the carpet, back wall carpet. I'm probably going to end up deleting the back wall carpet, but still has all the headliner, glass T-tops, factory mirror, no sun visors because they're always in my way road racing. And that's from this side. Okay, on over to the driver's side. Once again, ugly tan, functioning power windows, power door locks. Get dash from this side. IS 300 pedal covers. Have a lightweight steering shaft. It's actually the whole tilt column section has been deleted for this lightweight steering shaft. Using an MPI quick release. The turn signal stock part of the column is actually connected straight to the dash, where before it was connected to the column section. So all of this part here with the wipers and the turn signal stuff is connected to the dash. The key switch, which would have had a steering lock connected to the dash, is now, or connected to the tilt column itself, is now connected directly to the dash. But I didn't want to delete the key function. It's so much simpler than having the multiple switches over there for accessory and ignition on and start. I just didn't want to lose the simplicity of that. See the shift box from this side. Make out the 5th reverse. See, it won't go over to the 5th reverse position with the lockout in place. And this cool little dude here, this is actually the engine hood release. The reason for that is because when you put a roll bar in the car, you can't get your hand back here to get to the engine lid release anymore. So this cool little lightweight mountain bike brake lever pops the engine cover. And that was from the driver's side. I didn't want to miss this little detail, other than my cool ass stickers. That's right. Keep my slow AF sticker in here. Good luck. And nothing there. You see the panel that's covering the engine bay on that side, and just a piece of Velcro to keep the gas door closed. Up here in the front now, still got a little bit of dusties from our road race day at CMP. See the custom cross brace, 10-gallon Summit Racing fuel cell. I use a nitrous blowdown tube to run my overflow down underneath the car. It has a rollover valve in it. That's the return line there at the front corner of the tank. You can see my strut brace has a master cylinder brace for the braking. Proportioning valve, line lock, clutch pressure sensor, T-fitting. The master cylinder is actually a Subaru Brat master cylinder. You can see that the booster is deleted. Also run a Tilton clutch master cylinder, a larger bore, because with the Tilton clutch the pedal's super soft. So running the larger bore, I can have it, a decently firm pedal that still has actually makes for the pedal stroke to be much shorter. Wilhelm upper strut mounts. I've actually enlarged the upper hole to make it easier to get to the Cani 8611 adjustments. See the tank mount. My relays, pulse width modulated water pump relay, and you probably can't make it out, but down there underneath the fuel tank is there's actually an electric water pump. And then my relabeled fuse block. Okay, now on to the engine bay. Super pretty XV Racing carbon fiber engine lid. So we get it. There we go. Serial number 3. Honda K series, K24 bottom end, K20 top end. Drag Cartel Elite Endurance cams, 12.8 to 1 compression. Made 286 horsepower, 206 foot-pounds to the wheels. That's a K-tuned economy 4 to 1 header. Skunk 2 Ultra Street intake LS1 throttle body. Lightweight alternator, water pump delete. See my catch can mounted right there. Big shout out to Ransom Hall for the custom coil cover he designed and had cut for us. Toyota E153 transmission, ATS cages in the E153 axles. You can see the top part of the tubular cross member and my oil cooler lines. The oil cooler is actually underneath the trunk on the left side. All my exhaust is on the right side of the car. 3.5 inch cold air tube. Walk over here to this side. Once again, E153 Toyota transmission using our Cannibal Kit adapter plate to mate the K-Series to the Toyota transmission. See the socket head cap screws in the trans and some aluminum fasteners, titanium fasteners in the mounts and on the adapter kit. K-tuned water neck. I'm running when we get to the interior, you'll see I have a Honda shift box. I actually had to reverse one of the cable actions, so that's this extra bracket you see here to reverse the cable action on the cable. You can see the top part of the anti-squat bar mounting. Bay there. Once again, the harness, I've left it unloomed since we put the car back together in 2015. I make so many harness changes, sensors and stuff, I just don't want to loom it and have to keep unlooming it. 3MZ starter, Tilton internal slave, that's the bleed hose coming out of the top. This little black line here, that's my overflow, runs to the bottom of the trunk. It actually runs through the harness, so it's all tucked away. There's a panel there on the back wall, the aluminum panel I made to cover the fuel tank access tunnel. And just had it painted red so it kind of hides everything. You can also see that I've filled in the harness holes that pass through. So the only harness access is just here in the back. Tuck the cable for the engine latch. It's all tucked behind the latch itself, so there's no funky extra hole poking through here. Back up here. Also our mounts, we make these supplementary mounts to replace a lot of the brackets on the trans. So if you run a full 3HGT setup, we make a full 4-piece setup that deletes a lot of the factory brackets. Then we also make what we call a supplementary mount, which is just the 3 mounts on the trans for the Cannibal Kit guys. And there it is, all shiny looking orange in the sunlight. Okay, we got the front wheel off, front end up in the air. Once again, Willwood 11.75, 2-piece rotors, Willwood Dynapro caliper, Herbestos ST43 pads, custom coilover housings I built in the early 2000s, running the Wilhelm upper strut mount. No helper springs, obviously haven't felt the need for them yet. You can see where I removed the tow hook to put the front splitter on, and that's one of the mounts, or one of the braces for the front splitter. There's the inner part of our road race control arms. You see that nice large titanium bolt there. Some titanium hardware holding the suspension together. Manual steering rack. Suspension Techniques sway bars front and rear. We get an angle from the bottom here. There's our corrections for the bump steer. There's the inverted ball joint. So now the ball joint pivot is now centered in the control arm and not above the control arm. The aluminum piece in the middle is just the ball joint adapter to bolt to the factory spindle. Here's the splitter, so the underside of it. See, I've drug some curbs already with it. Let's see. There. It's the ABS panels going down the center of the car. You can make out the tubular cross member. And that's the front suspension. Okay, onto the rear suspension. Here's a better view of the radial mount. 10.75 Willwood 2-piece rotors, Dynapro caliper. Once again, the ST43 pads, braided brake lines, the coilovers I've built. Shoot, almost a good, what would you say, 18 years ago. Got the Wilhelm upper mounts here also. I'm as low as the car will go in the back with the road race setup. Obviously, I could modify my purchase and bring the whole setup down. I just haven't bothered to do that yet. See the side of the tubular cross member, the Wilhelm toe links, and the Wilhelm brackets that I've dialed in. Control arms. Get down here. Once again, the inverted ball joint. You see the aluminum adapter section. Better view of the tubular cross member. If it seems kind of dirty back here, I apologize. This is how it looks after a day of road racing on a very dirty track like CMP. That side. It's as I said before, the header. The header's a K-Tune 4-to-1, but it's been cut right at the collector, and then the ASP megaphone added to it. You can see all the debris that comes off the exhaust. The exhaust just does a U-turn through a silencer and then out the tip. There's my lightweight hanger. You see no heat shield down here, nothing funky. Make out my oil cooler and the lines going into the bay. So, view of the suspension on that side. That focus better for you. Take a look at all that. Canton oil pan. We got the edge of our cannibal adapter plate there. Let's see if I can get farther under here. Look at the anti-squat. So you can see with the anti-squat set up, the tension rod would have mounted in here. Now it's moved over to here. You can make out the multiple mounting positions. I actually have it in one position higher than stock, which I believe is like 13% better anti-squat properties than the factory position. I have even more positions to try. The issue is the higher you make this tension rod, the worse the arc that the rear control arm follows. And then some titanium. I like to use titanium where the large fasteners are involved, simply because for the cost of them, that's the only place to get the weight savings is in large hardware. There's my second electric water pump. Clutch line. I don't have a cooler on the trans, I just have a braided line looping the two ends back together. There's the other side of the anti-squat. It's a lot easier to make out what's going on over there. Make Got my speed center for my traction control. E153. Some more titanium hardware and aluminum washers. Back out of here. And that's the rear. I hope I covered all the bits that you guys wanted to see back here with the rear suspension. Another thing I forgot to add. Anybody who knows me knows I try to lighten everything up like this. Wheel adapter here. Bam. All pocketed out. So anytime I can try to get some weight out of something, I do. Probably might have noticed this where I pocketed the stage brake handle. Might have saved an ounce. I try. Okay, people, if you stuck with us this long through this video, I commend you. You're probably wondering where all this is going. Well, the goal is to make some big changes on the car before the MR2 Nationals, May 22nd to 25th. To our knowledge so far, we are still the fastest fastest normally aspirated MR2 in the world with our 12.0 at 112 pass when the car was making 265 wheel horsepower. You can see it that was at 2250 pounds. We've done a whole lot of road racing since then and really haven't got back to do much drag racing, but with us sponsoring the drag race event at the Nationals, we really want to try to bury that record even deeper. You know, currently the car is lighter than when I went that 12.0 pass, also makes more horsepower, but I want to take things even further. Currently I'm dealing with a valve lash issue. I'm not sure if it's Ferrea valves or something to do with my intake seats, but I'm constantly losing intake valve lash. So before something falls apart in the motor, we decided to go ahead and pull the head, and I've already placed an order for a 4-piston 156 V2 cylinder head, and I will be at that time also putting in my larger drag cartel 4.5 cams and bringing the compression up. You know, our goal is now that you've seen the car how it stands now, weighing 2,212 pounds, I really like to get the car down to around 2,100 pounds and the horsepower into the 300 plus mark. The cylinder head alone should put me over 300 wheel horsepower, and hopefully with the cam upgrade somewhere in the 320 to 330 wheel mark, and then possibly I'll try some methanol fuel, but we'll see what it does on E85 first. And obviously the goal there is 1170s or better. You know, I really want to get deep in the 11s on an all-motor combination. You know, I showed you what the car looks like in road race trim. Really the only things I do differently is take the camber out of it and remove the oil cooler and then install my weld wheels. So beyond those 3 mods, there really is no difference between when I road race the car and when I drag race it. Here's our banner, Facebook page, Instagram. This video will obviously be up on YouTube. Say hi to Rick. And that's pretty much it. Nothing else really to cover. That's the way the car sits, what our goals are. This is all planning to happen by the time we are at the drag race event, May 22nd. And there'll also be, I'm also installing an ABS, an aftermarket ABS setup on the car. That'll be a separate video. I'll be going back over the brakes system into more detail and the current mods and how I'm modifying the MR2's brake system to accept the BMW sensors and the BMW controller and the standalone harness. So thank you for watching.